Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we will continue the chapter from the industrial working classes. The industrial working classes did not participate in the civil disobedience movement in large numbers except in the Nagpur region. As the industrialists came closer to the Congress, workers stayed aloof. But in spite of that, some workers did participate in civil disobedience movements, selectively adopting some of the ideas of the Gandhian program, like boycott of foreign goods, as part of their own movements against low wages and poor working conditions. The industrial working classes started their own movement because Congress was not supporting them, and they selectively adopted some ideas of Mahatma Gandhi Swaraj thinking, like their movement was against low wages, poor working conditions. There were strikes by the railway workers in 1930 and dock workers in 1932. In 1932, very important terms. In 1930, thousands of workers in Chota Nagpur tin mines wore Gandhi caps and participated in protest rallies and boycott campaigns, but the Congress was reluctant to include workers' demand as part of its program of struggle because they were poor, they were not helping in any of their financial activity. It felt that this would alienate industrialists and divide the anti-imperial forces. So the industrial group also decided, and their support in the civil disobedience movement declined. Another important feature of the civil disobedience movement was the large-scale participation of women. During Gandhiji's Salt March, thousands of women came out of their home to listen to him. They participated in protest marches, manufactured salt. They picketed foreign cloth and liquor shops. Many went to jail. In urban areas, these women were from high caste families. In rural areas, they came from rich peasants' households because poor peasants did not allow their girls, their daughters, their wives to participate in the movement. Moved by Gandhiji's call, they began to see service to the nation as a sacred duty of women. Yet, this increased public role did not necessarily mean any radical change in the way the position of women was visualized. Gandhiji was convinced that it was the duty of women to look after home and hearth, be good mothers and good wives, and for a long time the Congress was reluctant to allow women to hold any position of authority within the organization. It was keen only on their symbolic presence. Now, Gandhiji said that women should not participate in this movement. Women's place is at home. They should be good mothers. They should be good wives. They should concentrate being good mothers. They should look after their home, their children, their hearth, their kitchen. And for a long time, the Congress did not allow women to hold any position of authority in the organization, in the Congress party. It was keen only on their symbolic presence. In reality, women was not considered a thing to be considered. The limits of civil disobedience movement. Not all social groups were moved by the abstract concept of Swaraj. One such group was the nation's untouchable, who from around the 1930s had begun to call themselves Dalit or oppressed. For long, the Congress had ignored the Dalits for fear of offending the Sanatanis, the conservative high caste Hindus. But Mahatma Gandhi declared that Swaraj could only come for 100 years if untouchability was not eliminated. Gandhiji's views were that Swaraj would not come in India, whether we are putting in a lot of efforts, but it would not come in India if untouchability would not be abolished. Untouchability should be abolished. He called the untouchables Harijan. Harijan means son of God, children of God, or the children of God. Organized satyagraha to secure them entry into temples, access to public wells, tanks, roads, and schools. What all things Gandhiji had done? Question can come. What all things Gandhiji had done to improve the condition of Dalits, to allow the Dalits to protect the rights of Dalits? He called the Dalits Harijan, organized satyagraha movements to secure them entry into temple, access to public wells, tanks, roads, and schools. He himself cleaned toilets to dignify the work of the Bhangi, the sweepers, and persuaded upper caste to change their heart and give up the sin of untouchability, because Gandhiji's idea was that untouchability is an offense, it is a crime, and freedom would not come in India, would not come in this country, whether we are doing all the things, whether we are putting all the effort, but it will not come in India if we will practice untouchability, if we will not stop practicing untouchability. But many Dalit leaders were keen on a different political solution to the problems of the community. They began organizing themselves, demanding reserved seats in educational institutions and a separate electorate that would choose Dalit members for legislative councils. Now, what happened? Gandhiji supported Dalit people, but Dalit people themselves want to have some rights. They began organizing themselves, the movement demanding reserved seats in educational institutions, legislatures, and separate electorate that would choose Dalit members for the legislative council. Because in the legislative council, no Dalit member was there. Only high reserve caste people were there. Political empowerment, they believe, would resolve the problems of their social disabilities. Dalit participation in the civil disobedience movement was therefore limited, particularly in Maharashtra and Nagpur region where their organization was quite strong. This is the first limitation of the civil disobedience movement.